So before we get started, I just want to share a little bit about why we're here today. So how many people, show of hands for folks in the room, how many people have heard of GOMRI or GOMRI? Okay, well, maybe half. Some of you are funded, so I'm glad you raised your hand, or else I'd have to say something. So if you're not familiar, the Gulf of Mexico Research Initiative is a $500 million 10-year initiative that was started in 2010 after the Deepwater Horizon oil spill. And the purpose of this initiative was to fund research to look at how oil and dispersants interacted with one another, how they moved around the environment, and then also how they impacted our people, our habitats, water quality, and then fish and wildlife. So again, they started back in 2010, and after a few years, all this great research was coming out. And so GOMRI partnered with Sea Grant to help get some of that information out to coastal audiences. And if you're not familiar with Sea Grant, well, come talk to one of the people I'm about to introduce and we can tell you all about the program. But we are embedded in coastal communities. We have a lot of stakeholders that we work with. So it was a really good partnership between the two of us. That's GOMRI and Sea Grant. So GOMRI and Sea Grant got together. Oh, thank you, Tara. So GOMRI and Sea Grant got together to form this oil spill science outreach program. This is our team. Usually everybody cringes. All of our team members cringe when I put this photo up because they're so big. But I just wanted to quickly introduce everybody just in case you aren't familiar with us. So from left to right, and every one of us is here in some way today. So Tara Skelton, right up here. Tara is our communicator. She's with Mississippi Alabama Sea Grant. She's over in Ocean Springs, Mississippi at our office there. Next is Emily. So Emily, she's way in the back there. If you're located in Louisiana or do work in Louisiana, Emily is your specialist. She's with Louisiana Sea Grant. She focuses on the chemical interactions of oil and dispersants. Next is Monica. Monica's in the back there too. So if you're with Florida, she's with Florida Sea Grant. She focuses on how oil and dispersants move around the environment. Next is Chris. Chris is over in Texas, so she's not here today, but she is on the line to make sure our sound quality is good. Chris focuses on the environmental impacts of spills. I'm next, wearing apparently the same sweater. Even that. So I'm Larissa. I'm also with Mississippi Alabama Sea Grant, but I'm in Mobile, Alabama. I focus on environmental health impacts of the oil spill. And then Steve, who just came in, raise your hand, Steve.
I've been here all day.
No, I mean, you just came back. We've seen you walk around. So Steve is our coordinator. He's also in Ocean Springs. He works for Mississippi Alabama Sea Grant, so he holds our team together. So that's our team. And what's our goal? So our program, the main goal of our program is to share this peer-reviewed, published information. So we do this in a lot of different ways. We have seminars like the one we're at today. We also have lots of publications. When you guys came in, you saw all those publications on the table. Feel free to take as many as you want. If you want extras, let us know. We have lots of hard copies. They're also available online at this website. If you just put in the search bar Sea Grant oil spill, it'll pop up. So for those on the line, you can access our publications there. So we cover a lot of different topics, and the purpose of the publications is really to synthesize all that scientific information and make it easy to understand and just pull it all together. So the next thing I just wanted to briefly talk about is why we're here today. So we have 3 goals for today's workshop, today's seminar. So the first thing we're going to do is we want to discuss how science is currently used in wetland oil spill response, monitoring, and restoration efforts. So then we're going to talk about some new science. I'm going to go through the agenda in a second. You'll see how this all works together. And then the last part is we want to discuss the needs of the response and research communities and how we might work together to fill some of these needs. So if you're not already on our mailing list, you will be after today, and you'll get notified of our new seminars and publications. If you ever want to get off, just email me, we'll take you off. But I think you'll find it useful, and this seminar is actually one of 3. So this is one focuses on wetlands. We're going to have a very similar, it's pretty much the same agenda with different people. On Monday, November 13th, that's going to focus on nearshore and beach habitats. So same setup, just different habitat. And then after the new year, we're going to have another workshop that focuses on offshore and deep water habitats, and we're going to have details about that coming soon. It'll probably be, I think, in the beginning of January is what we're shooting for. So just to quickly talk about today's agenda, you guys all should have copies. I emailed them out, and folks in the room, you have a hard copy of it. So we're going to start with just some background. We're going to talk about how oil spill response works in wetlands and how experts really come to figure out what the damages are of wetlands from an oil spill. So that's going to be our first two speakers. Then we're going to shift gears a little bit. We're going to have a panel of researchers. So this is to really ask them questions about the research they're doing, their studies, what they found. So we have some great folks joining us for that. And then we're going to break for lunch. We're having barbecue. So those that are on the phone, sorry. Should have been here in person. No, I'm just kidding. But we're going to have some case studies after lunch, and that's where we kind of pull it all together. So we're going to look at how science, like what happened during actual spills, how was science used, what did we learn, what could have maybe been improved. And then the last part is I'm going to turn it over to Monica, and she's going to lead a discussion. We're going to really talk about how we can bring this all together. So, a lot of times we have seminars where we learn a lot, and that's really important, but what we really want to do today is take what we've learned, really identify needs, and then really identify ways we can move things forward. So if there are clear needs, what can we do to fill those needs? So that is our lineup for today. And quickly, I just wanted to, I'm sure most of you can stand up here and give this presentation, but I just want to make sure we're kind of all on the same page. That's what we're kind of doing with these first three presentations. Just getting us all on the same page, make sure we're at the same level with our understanding. So just quickly, I just have a couple of slides just to talk about how important wetlands are. And so you guys, these are just three important reasons that wetlands are important. So we know that wetlands provide healthy and clean water, so they act as natural buffers. They can filter out sediment and pollutants that might run off of the land before it gets into our water bodies. They also provide healthy homes for fish and wildlife. So I think experts estimate that about 1/3 of endangered and threatened species that live in the U.S. rely on wetlands for their survival. They also really support a lot of our commercial fisheries. They're really vital for that. And then also wetlands offer protection from storms and flooding, so they hold a lot of water, they prevent erosion, they really act as these buffers. So that's just a few reasons why wetlands are important. And just to kind of, this is a little hard to see, but just to kind of talk a little bit about how oil spills might impact wetlands. So this is a graphic that was pulled together by NOAA, and you can see it's just the oil's coming on shore, so it can soak into the soil, so it can contaminate the soil. Also, it can cover the leaves and stems of the plants, or the stems and, so it can cover the plants, it can get into the soil, and over time, that can really reduce how well the plant functions. And that can lead to erosion or plant death or just loss. It's not functioning as well, so it's not going to be as good of a habitat. So that's about as much as I'm going to say, because our expert scientists are going to go into this a lot more. But I did want to point that out just to kind of get the mindset going here. And then also, response efforts are chosen to do more good than harm, but there are impacts that can happen inadvertently when we clean oil out of wetlands. So this is another graphic just talking about how accidental smothering, crushing, fouling, sometimes the oil can actually be mixed into the wetland sediment. So just another thing to think about. And again, we're going to be talking about this a lot as well. So one of our speakers is going to talk about kind of how we decide. So is it better to go clean the oil from the wetland, or is it better to just leave it alone and let it naturally break down? So the purpose, I just wanted to talk about those things just to kind of pull it all together that oil spills and sometimes response efforts, depending, can harm or kill plants and animals in the wetland. Over time, that can have a lot of impacts, like you see here. So reduced habitat and habitat quality, It could cause erosion, really decrease food sources. So those are some impacts that can happen. And then over time, those things can actually impact those function, like how the wetland functions. So again, it might not do well with cleaning water, keeping water cleaner, providing habitat, or protecting us from storms. So just wanted to provide a little background to get everybody in the wetlands mindset.